As promised, we're going to have a little discussion here, something that's probably long overdue, that will go over how to fit our focus rings on a variety of different lenses. What we've just taken a clip of is a picture of the HPX 500, which is using the Cinevate follow focus, and we've actually fitted one of our standard focus gears to its Fujinon lens. The Fujinon lens doesn't use a 0.8 film pitch gear ring. It uses a 0.5, I believe. So in this case, because we don't have a 0.5 yet for our follow focus, we just put one of our focus rings on, and you know what? It works really great. Has a very nice silky smooth feel, and I know Chris, who's behind the camera, will probably never turn that lens by hand again. This, for example, is a Carl Zeiss f1.4 85 millimeter, and all of these lenses have a fairly consistent diameter, so it's fairly easy to fit them. But here's a lens that would be considered more difficult. This is a vintage Lomo cinema lens, and undertow was shot using this and two other lenses. But what we've done is we've just geared up to the existing focus ring, because this lens is 25 years old, or actually it's probably older than 25 years old. It didn't have a focus ring, so we just put one of ours on. A lot of the cinema lenses will have a film pitch gear on them already. And again, in this case, there was none. So we just fitted one of our standard gears on here, and lo and behold, now we've got a film pitch geared cinema lens. Now, one of the things you may want to consider if you're doing a set is to pull the lenses out and have a look at where the gear is going to sit at a given focus range. If you try and get them consistent in height as you gear up a set, it's going to make it easier later when you're swapping them on and off the camera. You're not going to have to reposition the follow focus. The gears can go anywhere on the moving focus ring surface, and that in some lenses can be quite a large range of space. And we'll just go over a really quick tutorial, because it's very simple to do. It's nice though if you have yourself a cup of coffee, and it's a Canadian morning here, it's about 9 o'clock, so I got myself a big cup of coffee. I got about 3,000 watts of light to keep me warm. Very calm and relaxed, and that's really what you want to be in. You want to be in a nice clean environment with some good light, and you definitely want to be thinking a bit, particularly if you're doing a whole set of lenses, where you put them. And don't just stick them on and then, you know, after spending an hour, find out that, oops, I should have moved these all back a bit because they're going to interfere with my matte box. So as a general rule, you're going to want it farther back on the lens, again, to avoid issues with your matte box, which is going to be right up against that lens potentially. This is the basic anodized aluminum ring. And we sent also these basically Allen screws. These are stainless steel Allen screws. One of the reasons we can warranty the system for life is because it's not plastic and it's stainless. So what you're going to basically do is you're going to load this, and you can see I've got some travel back and forth in the ring with this. So and I've got about nearly 1/4 of an inch. So that's it fully extended, and if I give it a few turns, that's it all the way in. So this is an adjustment range that will cover most lenses. In the case that you have fatter lenses or different applications, we include different sizes of these in your kit. There's usually 3 different sizes for each ring, so you can play a bit. And worst case scenario, if you have a difficult application, let's say that all your lenses are huge and you don't have enough shorties, just give us a call and we'll give you the specs on these. You can pick them up, particularly in North America, you can pick them up at most hardware stores. They may not have stainless, but they'll have screws that'll get you going, and certainly we can send you whatever you need. So what you're going to do is basically load up this lens with the stainless spokes. And one of the ways that you can fit this on the lens, if I grab one of these ones that we've already geared, this particular lens has got enough clearance in here where I could actually load this up, place it over the lens body, okay? And what I could do is actually I could tighten these by hand. I don't even have to take the ring apart. So in this case, I can just kind of snug these up by hand if I really want a quick fit. So the tighten by hand method will work. And if you look at this, if you just eyeball this lens, you're going to get a really good idea whether it's centered or not. And because people have asked, well, how do you center it? Well, your eye is actually can detect a very small variation in off-centeredness, and if it is off-center, if you've put it on and it's kind of more to the right or the left, you basically loosen one side, tighten the other. Now, That is sort of the quick and dirty method, but what we prefer to do is actually take this ring apart, and you'll have to do that if you've got a very fat lens. So this 100 millimeter Zeiss we have here, and you probably get an idea. It's really hard to get your fingers in there. It's actually fairly straightforward, but what you do have to do is take the top portion of the ring, which is actually, it's two pieces. You have to take that off, and I'm going to show you how to do that so that you can gear this and get it perfect. These gears have a very small fastener, and what we've done now is we're now including the key for these. I believe it's a 0.9 mil, very, very small, and there's 3 of them. And what we suggest you do, I've got one pre-taken apart, so I'm just going to pick that one up and show you. This particular lens, you notice I've marked it, or this focus ring, I've marked it with a couple pieces of tape. That's just to make it easier to get it back together. So you can see with these, and again, they're pretty small. You're going to definitely want to make sure you're not working over a black shag carpet when you do this, because these guys are pretty little. But there's one of the little fasteners on the key that we'll provide. And you can see it's definitely small. They're quite effective though. They're incredibly well machined, so they fit together beautifully. You're going to want to remove those 3 from the ring, which will allow you to do this. All right, so now you can set this piece aside, and what you've got now is the inner gear, which is will give you easy access to the Allen heads. So if, for example, I was gearing with this, you can see now I have access from here, and if I was using this on this type of lens, you can see that now I can go in from the top and I can spend some time centering this perfectly. Once I get this piece on, if you're doing this permanently, you're probably going to want to use something called Loctite, which is a thread locker. You can use Loctite Blue or Loctite Red, which will basically lock these threads. You just put a tiny bit on the threads as you're putting them in, and that will lock this in place, not permanently, but it'll keep it from moving under any conceivable environment. So once you have that fitted on your lens and centered, and again, you're going to have access from the outside, then you can come along after, and again, you're going to want to do this with the lens. Obviously, you're not going to do it with the lens on the camera, but you can set the lens down in this configuration, right side up, and you can basically refit this piece now that we've taken it apart, and we're going to match up our tape, basically, which in this case, because these holes are drilled sometimes somewhat asymmetrically, the tape just makes sure that I get it in the right alignment. And basically, all you're going to do then, reinsert these Allen screws, which is actually a lot easier than it sounds. You basically just set it up and give it a spin, and they'll fire right in, like so. And there she goes. So essentially, you give that a few spins, and you're back in business with the gear. If you want to test it very quickly in terms of how centered it is, just throw it on the follow focus. By noticing the relationship right here, you're going to be able to see how good you did. And again, your eye is actually a very, very effective tool in terms of, you'll be able to see it probably within less than ½ millimeter of being centered, which is fine because these gears don't have to be perfect. The closer they are though, the better mesh you're going to get here. So there you go. There's a tutorial that I think covers a pretty comprehensive view on how to fit gear on various lenses. If you do have a lens that's extra huge, what you can do is give us a call. We can actually split this gear for you. So in the case that your lens has got an outside diameter over 100 millimeters, give us a call. We can split this for you before you send out the ring. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed. I know this was a rather long and technical piece, but our hope is that it helps you in the field to get everything perfect, which is how we like it here. So thanks, and we hope you enjoy and revisit us often at the Video University.